legends of the '90s coming together to coach there.
Oh yeah, it'd be really interesting to see that, and I can see Episcopal being a real successful team as well this year too.
Who's Trent playing? I thought I saw they were. It was a 1-2 under 1-0 teams.
Wait, which team are you talking about?
Trent.
Actually, I don't know.
Yeah, I thought I saw they were playing someone, but I forgot who it was. Honestly, I did see that they got a pretty hard fought win against PK Young in overtime last week. So they might be a team worth watching in 1A, as well as Hawthorne, who knocked off Newberry.
Yeah. Oh, you talking about Trenton out in on the Gulf, near the Gulf?
Gilchrist County, yeah.
I did put them on my game of the week. Well, I'm looking it up right now. Newberry. Yeah, that actually was my number one game.
That's really an interesting game to watch.
But those two small town schools they look like they're gonna be pretty tough. But I got Trenton by 14.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Yeah, Trenton's starting to get real strong again, and they are looking to be a team to be messed with, especially in 1A, kind of like Madison County as well.
Speaking of Madison County, they're actually going to be playing a team in a higher classification this week, which is kind of normal because they pretty much have to every week. They'll be playing South Sumter, which I believe that game is, it's at Madison County. That should be a pretty solid matchup. South Sumter, they lost this past week in a somewhat competitive game. Or I think they won it. I'm not... Honestly, I
think they beat Wildwood. I think that was a rivalry game.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, my bad. They beat them, but it was a lot closer than was expected. That's what got me confused. Anyway, Madison will probably win this one, but I do think that, at least I hope, that South Sumter could put up a better fight than Jefferson County did. I'm going to say Madison by 21 here.
I was actually going to say Madison by 21 as well. South Sumter, I know they're not in my coverage on my map, but that's a team I mentioned a few times before. Them and Wildwood both, and South Sumter's going to be a good team, but Madison County, they're really strong. That's just how they are. I've got two more to mention. This one, Bradford hosts Keystone Heights, and it'll also be Bradford senior night as well. I think that will be a good game, but I got Bradford winning by 14 on this one.
Yeah, I'll take Bradford to make the rebound against Keystone Heights. So yeah, I'll go 14 as well.
Yeah, Bradford's still a team I believe will be pretty solid. They just I know last week was just hard to believe when they played Baker County, but I still believe they're a pretty strong team.
I think they had a quarterback out in that game as well, too.
And then, I actually got two more to add, and then I'll be done. One of them, this is another small school game. Union County hosts Dixie County, which is another small town battle. They're not rivals, I think, but they're both solid teams. But I'm going to go with Dixie County by 7, and I think it'll be a pretty aggressive battle between both schools.
I believe Union County is now coached by Andrew Thomas, who was at Trinity Catholic and previously was at Trin when they won state titles. But it's still the first year. I feel like they'll probably get better over the next few years, but for now, I'll take Dixie as well. I'll take them by 7 in this one.
Okay. And the last one I want to mention, this game I was going to add to my game of the week possibly as well. Like, they were an option, but I didn't think it was going to be as crazy as these other games. But again, there's a lot of good games scheduled. This one's been talked about a little bit around Jacksonville area. Yulee and West Nassau, and that's a rivalry game as well. Yulee was actually they played pretty impressive last week. Them and Fernandina Beach both had a pretty good game, but West Nassau, they're a strong team. They've put up numbers before. They've show they can play. They're aggressive as well, very aggressive. I'm actually to pick West Nassau by 14.
I'll take a similar score. I'll take West Nassau by 17 here. I do feel like they really seem to have definitely pulled ahead as far and away the best team in Nassau County. Then again, there's not a lot of teams there. I think there was only 4 schools in that county, but regardless, West Nassau seems to have pulled themselves ahead in that area. The question is just how they stack up with some of the other teams in Northeast Florida. But hopefully we'll find out later in the season.
Alrighty. Do you have any other games you'd like to add before
I got a couple.
Go on to another topic?
I got 2 from the Tampa Bay area, and 1 from South Florida, and 1 that's an out-of-state game.
Ooh, so we going out of the area. Alright.
Clearwater Central Catholic at Tampa Catholic. A battle of former... they both used to be in 3A together. Tampa Catholic moved up to 4A last year. Clearwater Central Catholic does have some talent on this roster, but they are pretty young. Everything from people I've spoke to, it seems like next year they're going to be a very good team and could even potentially win 3A next year. But this year, they're still going to have their growing pains to try to adjust to a lot of young players. So I'll take Tampa Catholic by 10 here.
Yeah, this one, I'm familiar with both of these two teams, but I'm going to... This is really tough for me, too, because both of them, they've had really good years. I'm going to go with Tampa Catholic by 7.
Yeah, and it's at Tampa Catholic, too, so I could definitely see Tampa Catholic winning this one at home. Sorry.
You're good.
Tampa Bay Tech at Steinbrenner. Steinbrenner was a Final Four team this past year, but they did graduate a lot of the talent that led them there. Tampa Bay Tech, from all accounts, seems to be pretty loaded in the Tampa area this year. This will definitely be their first real chance to prove themselves. I'm going to say Tampa Bay Tech by 14 here, and they're at Steinbrenner.
Okay. Yeah, Tampa Bay Tech is a team that's been talked about a lot in the whole state of Florida, too. And then, yeah, Steinbrenner's usually had pretty good teams as well. Both are big schools down there. I'm going to go with Tampa Bay Tech by 10.
All right. The out-of-state game, Clearwater Academy International will head up to Brentwood Academy, Tennessee. Now, Brentwood Academy doesn't seem to play Florida teams all that often. In fact, I believe the last 2 times they played it was ISB back in 2017, and then in 2015 they faced 2A state champion University Christian. Both times, well, second thought, Brentwood Academy's game with ISB, that one got canceled, I believe, because of the hurricane. So the last game they did have was against UC, where they blew them out. CAI currently, I believe they were closing in on like 15 or 20 D1 players or something. This will definitely be a much better team than Brentwood Academy has ever faced out of the state of Florida. I like Clearwater to get the win for the state of Florida up in Tennessee. I'm going to take them by 7 here.
Okay. I'm actually, this is going to be the first time I ever do this because I'm not really familiar with either school. So I am actually going to say I don't have a prediction. I just don't know much about either team, actually.
But I'm guessing you'll still pull for the Florida team?
Personally, yeah, because it's Florida. Yeah, I would like to see that Clearwater team win. But like I said, I have no prediction because I'm not familiar with either team as well.
And this is a game that, honestly, I didn't even realize was happening this week until last night. Defending 2A state champion Champagnat Catholic will travel to defending 3A state champion Chaminade Madonna. This one should be good. I do believe Champagnat has lost a bit of talent from last year, but there's still a threat in 2A. Chaminade is pretty loaded and ranked top 10 in my state Florida poll, and they're at home. I think Champagnat will hold their own for the most part, but I think Chaminade pulls away between 14 to 17 points in the end.
I'm gonna go with Chaminade Madonna by 3. I just think they will be the better team here, but it should be a close game. They're both really great private schools down south. So, yeah, Chaminade Madonna by 3.
All right. Was there anything else of specific note, like from the area? Like, otherwise, I think there was one thing I don't know if we hit on during the last show. Did we actually hit on the topic of like with Columbia? With Brian Allen stepping back to be an assistant head coach for the year? I don't know.
Actually, I believe we did.
Okay.
We actually did that.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that was if that had came before or after the show, honestly.
What I was going to mention is, especially since we're in the season now, I know not every team has played quite yet, but do you have any teams you would say to be on the lookout for this season as well?
Any particular area?
Yeah, like anywhere in North Florida, because I know we talked about it before, but now that we're getting the season, you think is there any teams you think that could might be impressive this year?
Honestly, surprisingly, I think Fort White could be a team worth watching in 1A with their very skilled up and coming sophomore quarterback. He's definitely gotten a lot of attention lately, and personally, I wish he was at Columbia because I feel like there would really be a chain reaction to really bring all the talent into one school. But I am very confident with the quarterback we have, and it'll be interesting to see how far forward I can go with them.
Yeah, there's a few schools, like I said, whether they're big or a small school. There's actually a few schools that they've had some struggles in the past as well that I think will be impressive, whether they make the playoffs or they haven't put up a good record. One of them that I mentioned, and I think potentially if they really do show in the first few weeks with how they play these teams, Wolfson is a team I'd like to mention. They have potential to be pretty good. Last year they were showing signs of improvement. I know they couldn't make it inside the playoffs. Especially with this whole, the way they were putting teams in 3A. And I know Trinity got that last spot, I believe, even though I think they had 5-5 record last year?
It was 5-5, and Wilson was 8-2. But again, if you look at Wilson's schedule, you see why they missed out.
Yeah, the strength of schedule. But I think Wilson could be a team. They could have a shot. Creekside is also a team to watch as well. They've had struggles in the past too, and again, I think their game against Bartram will be pretty good. And I believe I said Bartram by 14. I think was what I said earlier. And they are a team that looks like they could look pretty good, and they may have a shot to make the playoffs as well. But all they got to worry about, especially, is winning. Like, I know the whole district thing is not really a thing this year, but if it was, they need to watch for teams like Fleming Island and Fletcher and Buchholz the most in that district.
Yeah, who was Fleming playing this week, or are they off this week?
Fleming Island plays Palatka.
Yeah, they should probably be able to win that one relatively easy. I think Palatka got killed by West Nassau this past week.
Yeah, they did. Another team I'd like to add, they're a small private school that no one talks about, but St. Joseph Academy and St. Augustine is a team I'd like to add. They're pretty loaded for a small school, I would think, and I know they just had a pretty good game last Friday. So they're a team I think that could make it far in the 2A playoffs and potentially make it to the state semifinals, maybe state championship, possibly.
The biggest thing that I noticed was St. Joseph. I think they were undefeated 2 years ago, and they lost the first round. I feel like it was a case of strength of schedule that, unfortunately, they win their games. The problem is they really don't test themselves. I think I could say the same thing for McClay over in Tallahassee. They get these fancy records that look good, but they're not really testing themselves. It really backfires on them in the end.
Well, yeah, who knows? I know they play a lot of small private schools as well, because that's the best. I'm sure that's the best they can schedule, but they're a team that I would look at as well. Who else am I thinking of? And Duval. I know Reball. They've always been they've always had talent, but I think they'll be a team where they'll make the playoffs.